The details of the ceasefire. In short, before I go into the statements that were made by the acting head of the Palestinian Hamas movement, Khalil al-Hayya, there was a declaration coming from Qatar. Qatar, they declared that they reached a ceasefire agreement and that they will be implementing this ceasefire agreement starting from Sunday. What time on Sunday? Reports said midday, but the Qataris said that the hour will be confirmed later on, very shortly on Sunday. However, clearly there are certain things already happening from now when it comes to the ceasefire, like the aid going in. And I mean, the fact that the Palestinian armed resistance is in the open, not hiding from anything. There was a report coming from Egypt that Israel will be releasing in the first phase. And again, we're talking about phases 1, 2, and 3. On day 16th, there will be negotiations about phases 2 and 3. It could be shortened to only phase 2, by the way. There's a lot of pressure in Israel to get it over and done with. Many people, especially the families of the Israeli prisoners of war in Gaza, saying get all of them out and get a deal out. Don't risk keeping people in because we don't want people to die. However, it appears that this time that's it. It's serious. It's confirmed. However, Netanyahu still wanted to do it in 2 knocks, and the Palestinian resistance already confirmed that they're happy to have it in multiple phases, although Hamas told them from day one, we're willing to have an agreement now and stop everything after they start Al-Aqsa flood and have a prisoner release. Details that we have so far that were published from Egypt. Israel will be releasing in the first phase of the ceasefire that will be taking place for 42 days, 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, including 250 with world sentences, life sentences, meaning people who have like hundreds or thousands of years in Israeli prisons. Also, 1,000 from the prisoners who were imprisoned after the 7th of October. Israel will allow the travel of the wounded from Gaza to be treated abroad in the first phase. Israel agreed on opening the Rafah crossing 7 days after the beginning of the implementation of phase 1, and Egypt already confirmed that the majority of the Israeli forces have retreated or withdrew from the Philadelphia corridor altogether. That's been confirmed by Egypt. There is a humanitarian relief protocol that is connected with the first phase that will include the delivery of 600 aid trucks a day to Gaza. The statement of the mediators, Qatar, Egypt, and the United States of America, is the statement that will confirm how the phases will be connected. It's expected for the ceasefire implementation to begin 2 to 3 days. We heard reports that it's going to be on Sunday, potentially midday. The agreement confirms that Qatar and Egypt will be overseeing the return of the Palestinians who were displaced from their homes in the north to the north from the south, basically going up north. Qatar and Egypt will be overseeing that. The Israeli forces, the genocide forces in Gaza, will be gradually reducing their presence in the Philadelphia axis. However, again, we confirmed that Egypt said, Egyptian sources, that majority of them already left, and then they will completely withdraw from it altogether in multiple phases. The withdrawal from the Netzarim line will happen also in phases. These are 2 places that Netanyahu said he will never accept to withdraw from. People need to remember that. And he also said they will not be allowing people to go back to the north. This is a massive, massive blow for Israel and a massive victory for the Palestinian people and the Palestinian resistance. Hamas asked the mediators to confirm the area that Israel will be retreating to or withdrawing to based on schedules. The Israeli army will be withdrawing in the first phase to the borders of Gaza with a depth of 700 meters. Israel wanted 2 kilometers in the beginning. Hamas said 500. Israel said 1.5. Hamas said 500. Israel said 1,000. Hamas said 500. And then eventually they agreed on 700 meters. And then Hamas asked for maps that were clearly submitted. Then, during the first phase also, 33 Israelis will be released, dead and alive, according to previous reports. However, how will it look like? That will be confirmed later on. This is regarding the first phase. The second phase, the more significant stuff, the release of more and heavier prisoners. The heaviest Israeli prisoners, I mean, like army commanders and stuff, will be in the final stage, basically. Israel completely withdrawing from Gaza, talks about rebuilding Gaza and getting everything in. And the day after, that will be something that the Palestinian people will be decided, meaning that Hamas is there. You saw from the images, the Palestinian resistance fighters are in the streets already. No one is touching them. Okay, so the most significant thing that we want to read out, that I want to read out to all of you, is firstly the statement of the leading movement in all of this, Hamas, and the statement that came from the political bureau acting leader of Hamas, Khalil al-Hayya. Firstly, we had a statement from Hamas themselves saying that Hamas movement confirmed on Wednesday evening that a ceasefire agreement is the result of the legendary steadfastness of our great Palestinian people and our valiant resistance in the Gaza Strip over more than 15 months. They added the agreement to stop the aggression on Gaza is an achievement for our people, our resistance nation, and the free people of the world. It is a turning point in the conflict with the enemy on the path to achieving our people's goals in liberation and return. They stressed that the agreement comes from our responsibility towards our steadfast and patient people in the proud Gaza Strip to stop the Zionist aggression against them and put an end to the torrent of blood, massacres, and war of extermination to which they are being subjected. We express our appreciation and thanks for all the honorable, official, and popular positions that showed solidarity with Gaza, stood with our people, and contributed to exposing the occupation, stopping the aggression. Arab, Islamic, and international. Special thanks to the mediating brothers who made great efforts to reach this agreement, especially Qatar and Egypt. The Qatari Prime Minister also confirmed, Foreign Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani, that a deal has been made. That was before that, of course, the finishing statement of Hamas. And the Qatari Foreign Minister also stressed that the Qataris, Egyptians, and Americans will be ensuring the ceasefire implementation, and that this agreement is the first phase that will be lasting for 42 days, with the beginning of the talks on phases 2 and potentially 3 on day 16, including a confirmation in line with President Joe Biden's confirmation that this ceasefire is established upon, that there will be a ceasefire even if an agreement on phases 2 and 3 hasn't been reached. Saying that, the biggest and most important thing is that an agreement has been reached, and this is an indication that this will be going all out, and this is the understanding that we're getting from Israeli officials, from Hamas, and from everyone involved as well. That is the first part when it comes to the statement of Hamas. Now to the statement of Khalil al-Hayya. Khalil al-Hayya, the acting political bureau head of Hamas, he also made an important statement in which he described really everything. So I'm going to read the majority of it for you because it's very important to read all of it. Lots of important information, important bits to do with the ceasefire itself, what led to the ceasefire, who's involved, the messages that are coming from Hamas, including what Hamas would be looking for moving forward, what they will be doing. So Khalil al-Hayya said, "O honorable people of Gaza, people of martyrs, wounded prisoners, and missing persons, you have kept your promise, been patient, and endured pains that no one has ever endured before you, and you have encountered what no one has encountered, and have fulfilled the trust properly, and you are worthy of it. So always give a moment of sacrifice and offer a moment of giving, and patient, and be patient in the places of patience, and strive in the places of struggle or jihad, and you have attained honor. May God make a great congratulations to all of you for your steadfastness, your struggle, your patience, your giving, and your sacrifices. Peace be upon you for your patience. What a great home we stand at this moment, and salute everyone, the martyrs, the children, women, elderly, scholars, fighters, doctors, media personnel, civil defense personnel, security personnel, and of course everyone involved. He continued, the greatest battle and cause is the battle to defend Jerusalem and Al-Aqsa in the Al-Aqsa flood. Greetings to everyone who remains steadfast. He continued and completed the path and carried the banner after them. And like every prophet, many people fought after them, but they did not weaken. Of course, read a couple of verses from the Quran. We stand before the martyrs' leaders whose limbs were scattered in this battle. Our martyred leader Ismail Haniyeh, Abu al-Abed, may God have mercy on him, and the martyred leader Yahya Sinwar, Abu Ibrahim, may God have mercy on him, and the martyred leader Sheikh Salih al-Aruri, may God have mercy on him, and the brothers of the political and military leadership of the movement in Gaza Strip, and the martyrs of all factions, the resistance factions, the people, and the fighters as well. We do not exclude any of them. And he continued that this is what we're doing is a trade with God that will never fail, and we will continue down the path of our martyr leaders, victory or martyrdom, God willing. And he sent also a message to the great people of the Arab Islamic nations and the free people of the world. That was the beginning statement from Khalil Hayy, the acting head of the political bureau of Hamas. He continued to the more important bits as well, saying that the battle of the flood of Al-Aqsa represented an important turning point in the history of our cause and the stages of resistance of our great people. The effects of this battle will continue and will not stop, God willing, with the end of this battle. What happened on October the 7th, a miracle, a military achievement, and a security accomplishment carried out by the elite of the Al-Qassam brigades, will remain a source of pride for our people and our resistance passed down from generation to generation. It has struck a fatal blow to the enemy's entity, and our people will regain all their rights, God willing, and the occupation will be removed from our land, our Jerusalem, and our holy sites soon, God willing. What the occupation its supporters did in terms of brutal war of extermination, Nazi crimes and hostility over the course of 467 days will remain engraved in the memory of our people and the world forever as the worst genocide in the modern era, with all types of pain, torment, and suffering, which will remain a stain of shame on the forehead of humanity and the silent, indifferent world, and will never go away. Our people forget all those who participated, will not forget those who participated in the war of extermination, whether those who provide political media cover for it, or those who provided thousands and tons of bombs of explosive that were dropped on the heads of our people, sons, daughters, and children of the Gaza Strip. We affirm that all of these criminals will receive punishment. They came and did after a while, and despite the horrors and hardships of our people have been exposed to, which make children's hair turn white, according to him, we hold our heads high with the resistance, and we are proud of our heroes and resistors and their patient people. Our enemy will not see a moment. Our enemy will not see a moment of weakness or defeat from us. Here we say, in the name of the orphans, children, and widows, in the name of the owners of destroyed homes, the martyrs, the wounded, and the bereaved, in the name of everyone, victims, in the name of every drop of blood that was shed, in the name of every tear and pain and oppression, we say in their name that we will not forget and we will not forgive. Yes, we will not forget and we will not forgive. None of us, nor among us, would squander the right to all this pain and sacrifice. Our great people, our Arab Islamic nation, the free people of the world. Since the beginning of the aggression, the occupation has tried to achieve many goals. Some of them were announced and others were hidden. They said, frankly, they seek to end the resistance, eliminate the Hamas movement, recover the prisoners by military force, and change the face of the region, while their hidden goal was to liquidate the Palestinian cause, destroy the Gaza Strip, take revenge on its people, displace them, and eliminate the will of our people. With freedom and the destruction of all meanings of hope and the end of the effects of the glorious flood on October the 7th, but the criminal occupation clashed with the steadfastness of our people and their adherence to their land, so it failed to achieve any of its secret or declared goals. Our people remained steadfast in their land, so they did not leave or immigrate, and it was the solid shield for its resistance, and the resistance fighters, the sons of Al-Qassam brigades, and with them their brothers, they absorbed it. From the resistance factions are those heroes who amazed the entire world with their heroism and exceptional operations, and continue until the last moment of this war to resist with honor and morals in defense and attack, and carried out qualitative operations with audacity the world has never seen the likes of, and with an unparalleled bravery, as they planted explosive devices, launched shells, set up ambushes, and fought from point zero, heating up in the enemy, even turned the occupation's vehicles into charred coffins. They were with all the resistance fighters from the heroic resistance factions, and we especially mentioned the sons of Al-Quds brigades, brothers in path, faith, heroism, and weapons in the Islamic jihad. They were a model for a fighter. The free fidaiyin, or the people who kind of sacrificed themselves, sold their souls cheaply for the sake of God and for the sake of their homeland and in defense of their people. Al-Hayya continued in his statement, today we prove that the occupation has not and will not be defeated, has not and will not defeat us or our people and their resistance, thanks to God and his support. It has only achieved destruction, devastation, massacres against our people. It has not taken prisoners except by agreement with the resistance to stop the war and aggression and a deal. Exchange of honor. So we say it with all confidence and certainty that the steadfastness of our people, their great sacrifices and the bravery of the resistance have aborted and foiled the declared and hidden goals of the occupation in this war. And the will of our people is still free, proud, and pure, untainted by any blemish of cowardice or weakness. Rather, it remained honorable and lofty until the last moment, thanks to God who supported us, or supported you, our people. Al-Hayya continued, with this victory and with the faithful, our loyal and generous people, as we announce reaching an agreement to stop the war and aggression today, we remember with all the words thanks and gratitude everyone who stood with us, our people, and our resistance in the difficult moments. And to mention here in particular the brothers in the support fronts in brotherly Lebanon, where the brothers in Hezbollah who presented hundreds of martyrs from leaders and mujahideen on the road to Jerusalem, headed by His Eminent Secretary General Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah and his brothers in leadership, as well as our brothers in the Islamic group, in Lebanon, who also fought next to Hezbollah, and what the Lebanese people presented in terms of resistance, great sacrifices, and great patience in defense and support of our Palestinian people. And they have done well. They turned the life of the occupation into hell and displacement in a scene of solidarity and support that embodies the brotherhood of Islam and Arabism. We also remember the brothers in Yemen, Ansarullah, the brothers of truth, who transcended the geographical dimensions and changed the equation of war and the region, and launched missiles and drones at the heart of the entity and besieged it in the Red Sea. We also remember the brothers in the Islamic Republic, the Iranian resistance that supported our resistance and our people and engaged in the battle and destroyed the heart of the entity with Operations True Promise 1 and 2, and the Iraqi resistance that penetrated all obstacles, contributing to supporting Palestine, its resistance and its missiles and marches reached our occupied land as well as our people. And our revolutionary youth and heroic mujahideen in the blessed West Bank. And here we especially mention our heroic mujahideen in the camp of the steadfastness and heroism, the Jenin camp in Jerusalem and the occupied 1948 territories, and to the people in exile and diaspora, the Arab and Islamic people, who also express our deep thanks and appreciation to the brotherly mediators in Qatar and the dear state of Qatar and the dear Republic of Egypt, who made strenuous efforts and multiple rounds of negotiation since the first day of the aggression to reach this moment, the moment of stopping the aggression and the war of extermination against our people. We also remember the bright positions of the countries that stood with us in various fields, especially our brothers in Turkey, South Africa, Algeria, Russia, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, and all the countries that took honorable positions. Who stand for Palestinian rights and the oppressed and subjugated in Gaza. We also remember and thank the free people of the world and everyone who stood with us with words, pens, voices, pictures, marches, demonstrations, the weapon of boycott, political, diplomatic, and legal effort, and raised their voices against the oppression and injustice against the level of the region and the world. Those free people who broke the conspiracy of silence and exposed the crimes of the occupation against humanity and Gaza, in Gaza, and realized the truth of the scene. He ended with a couple of statements primarily for Gaza, saying, "Oh, great people of Gaza, we are now facing a stage which is new to our proud Gaza, which is the stage of construction, consolation, removing the effects of aggression, and reconstruction, the stage of solidarity and sympathy through which we confirm to the world that we are the people, free people who build and do not destroy and reconstruct what the occupation has destroyed. Just as you were men in the war, you will be men, God willing, after the war, as we have known you. We are facing the stage of mercy. So we will speak first, and with the help of our brothers, siblings, and supporters, we will rebuild Gaza again, alleviate the pain, heal the wounds, stroke the heads of the orphans, and stop all of the effects of the war. Tears of the bereaved, and we also will end that and also put a smile on the lips of the people who had the war stealing their home, as the prisoners and the heroes have an appointment with the dawn of freedom." He ended, "God willing, we will continue our efforts with our brothers in all of the Palestinian forces and factions to build and strengthen our national unity and build. And we will continue to until we achieve our national goals. And in conclusion, this battle that began for the sake of Jerusalem and Jerusalem al-Aqsa will remain our compass and the title of our struggle and resistance until liberation and establishment of the independent state with Jerusalem as its capital, God willing. Greetings, all greetings to the righteous martyrs and to the wounded, to the victims, the bereaved, the valiant prisoners in the prison who are waiting for the dawn of freedom, which is coming with the cessation of the aggression, God willing. And also greetings to everyone who stood and showed solidarity with us and stood us with blood, stance, and word. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you." This was the statement coming from the acting political bureau head of Hamas, Khalil al-Hayy. Now, moving on to the implementation. The implementation is due to take place on Sunday. We haven't had a confirmation yet about the hour of Sunday when it will be released. We had also a confirmation coming from Israel that they will be releasing thousands also of prisoners in the first phase. We're still not talking about the second phase. And if we're talking about 2,000 at the beginning, there's a very high likelihood that we are talking about the majority, if not all, the Palestinian prisoners. Also, people are criticizing Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. Why are they criticizing Benjamin Netanyahu? Because he did not have an official statement. He just had a word being released thanking Donald Trump. Thanking Donald Trump after he basically threatened him with Steve Witkoff that he needs to get this deal sorted, the same deal that Joe Biden had on the table. Meaning Benjamin Netanyahu agreed to a deal that he could agree to half a year ago. Now the talks in Israel are about the government. What are the key figures in Benjamin Netanyahu's government going to do? Ben Gvir and Smotrich. There are reports that they both of them might be resigning. Ben Gvir called Smotrich to side with him and resign, to apply more pressure, saying that my party only, we can't resign by ourselves. We need to apply more pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu. However, there's one thing here. The polls show that these people are losing in any election. So this is the best thing that they can ever have. Smotrich said, we will wait up until we see how the ceasefire agreement ends. Will we return to the war or will we not? And then we will make a decision, meaning they can buy Benjamin Netanyahu a bit more time. However, Benjamin Netanyahu is clearly not relying on them. That's something we've been saying from the beginning. Netanyahu won't accept a ceasefire unless he agreed or guaranteed the day after for himself. He did that. He firstly had more Saar joining his cabinet. He has a safety net from the opposition, and he has people in line who would be willing to go into the government up until the next elections due in 2026. So he's buying himself 1.5 years. Secondly, well, it's not only that now for Benjamin Netanyahu. Now people are going to talk about the failure, about an inquiry, who's responsible, why were the soldiers killed and sent to war if you ended up with a ceasefire that you could achieve before. Still pressure on him that he didn't accept a full agreement that will release all of the Israeli prisoners of war immediately and release all of the Palestinian prisoners all at once and risk keeping them there for a longer period and potentially having them, who knows what can happen? Maybe they can be killed or something. All of these questions are very important. Another big question for Netanyahu is what's going to happen with his status internationally. Benjamin Netanyahu is a person who's running away from justice. Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, they are wanted war criminals. The ICC cases haven't dropped. Has he been promised something by the United States of America in return? When it comes to the agreement, although the confirmations that came from the United States administration initially said that, no, Benjamin Netanyahu, we disagree with all of this talk of the Hague and whatever. They even have the Hague Invasion Act, right? If the International Criminal Court, if they arrest an American or an ally of the United States, that the US can use actual force against them. But there could be something here that would be in the benefit of Benjamin Netanyahu that we haven't really reached yet. So these were the main thick lines when it comes to the ceasefire. More details are being published. Of course, we'll speak about them as and when. Now it's about, of course, waiting for the implementation, which is due to take place on Sunday. However, it could be there earlier. And then the implementation, as and when, who's going to be released, what's going to happen. And then the important bit is going to happen 2 weeks into the ceasefire agreement, when Israel and Hamas will have to sit down and agree on the next points. But again, when it comes to the ceasefire agreement, the fact that we already had ceasefire declaration, the ceasefire that Benjamin Netanyahu always rejected. Benjamin Netanyahu's declared objectives of the war were firstly eliminating the Hamas. Not only did Benjamin Netanyahu did not eliminate the Hamas, Hamas emerged victorious with the Palestinian resistance and the Palestinian people, and they recruited global people globally supporting them and the Palestinian cause as well, because they saw the true face of Israel. Israel had and faced a strategic loss that it will never be able to recover from. And this battle is a battle that is a part of a chain towards the path of completely dismantling Israel as an apartheid entity. Israel will not be able to recover from this. Whether they have a ceasefire, have a different type of escalation, they will not be recovering from this, because they always thrived in the dark, and now they have been exposed forever to everyone. So the action will continue up until ultimately all of the rights of the Palestinian people will be achieved.